is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast. My name is Kendall Bowman, and ladies and gentlemen, we've got huge updates over a story that happened over the weekend, specifically on Sunday in Houston, Texas at Lakewood Church, which many of you may know as the church that is pastored by Joel Osteen. Now, if you've been living under a rock, you might not have seen this story, but there was a major shooting that happened at this church. Nobody was hurt. There were some injuries, except of course for the shooter himself. We're not sure yet. We're not sure yet. But what I just said should give you some ideas as to what this update is. Yes, that is correct. From Scanner News, Lakewood Church shooting suspect identified as transgender immigrant from El Salvador. Now, before we get right into the finer details, I do want to try to explain to you this right here. They tried to change her name, not her name. They tried to change her race from non-Hispanic and white. This is an immigrant from El Salvador. And they tried to change her race to white, non-Hispanic. Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Let that sink in. In the report, they put her race as white. Let that sink in and think about the narrative that's going on here. Okay? Think about the cover-up. Now, I'm not saying that the police department tried to cover this up and tried to blame white people. But that's kind of what it looks like. I don't see how you could personally see how you could mistake this woman or this person for a white person. I mean, it's blatantly obvious that she's Hispanic. I mean, we have a massive population down here of Hispanic people in the state of Texas. I don't understand why that would be so confusing. But it would appear to me they tried to cover this up. Because, of course, Hispanic people, trans Hispanic people going around and shooting up Christians, it doesn't fit the narrative. But let's get into the finer details. The suspect has been identified as Janess Yvonne Moreno, previously known as Jeffrey Escalante, a biological male who identifies as a woman. Yet another transgender individual, someone who claims that they are the gender that they are not biologically, going in and shooting up Christians. We are seeing quite the pattern here, aren't we? I mean, we've had, I want to say, 6 mass shootings, or at least mass shooting attempts, which is what this was in this case, where many, I want to say it's like the last 6 major mass shootings that we've had have all been trans people. We're looking at an epidemic here, guys, but let's continue. The shooter entered the church with a 5-year-old boy that he brought along during the 2 p.m. Spanish language service. One man was injured, and the child he brought was shot and is in critical condition at the hospital. 2 off-duty officers fatally shot the Moreno at the scene. It is unclear who shot the child, but Houston Police Chief Troy Finner placed the blame on the shooter. Absolutely. You're going into a place where you plan to shoot up the place, and you bring a child with you. I believe ultimately it shows the extreme level of mental illness that this person has. I believe that this person is clearly psychotic in some way. Just to bring a child with you as you plan to go kill people. Personally, and this is just my opinion, I don't have anything to back this up, but this individual, this man, pretending to be a woman, very clearly could have been trying to use this child as a human shield. Okay? Now, I don't know that. I can't say that for sure. I don't have any evidence to back that up. But why in the frick else would you bring a 5-year-old child with you as you plan to go kill people? I don't know. Maybe it's just the level of insanity that this individual was going through, but I digress. Let's continue. Fox News reports Moreno, who has a lengthy criminal record and was born as a man, Jeffrey Escalante, from El Salvador, was killed after off-duty police officers at the church responded to the incident. A search warrant said Moreno pointed an AR-15 at the officers, who then fired upon him and killed him in self-defense, the report added. I changed it to him because I don't tolerate delusion. Let's continue. The shooter had claimed to have a bomb, but no explosives were found at the scene. Once she went down, officers reported back to that he granted that he had a bomb, Finner said. So we searched her vehicle, our bomb squad, and also gosh, it's so difficult. He, her, them, it. Let me just continue. It's a he, guys. It's a he. It's so difficult for me to read this let's continue. It's just the level of crazy that our society is at this. Like the fact that we're, giving an attempted murderer the leniency of tolerating her delusion, or its delusion, his delusion, whatever the frick this is. To me, it tried to come in and kill a bunch of people. So it's not even a human in my opinion at this point. You're dead now. You don't get the respect after you try to murder a bunch of people. Okay? You don't get the respect. No explosives were found, but he was also spraying some type of substance on the ground. Free Palestine was reportedly written on the gun through police, though police have not revealed a motive for the shooting. Chief Finner praised the off-duty officers for their quick response. He had a long gun, and it could have been a lot worse, the police chief said. Ah, yes, the old Free Palestine. The old Free Palestine. I think we can make some assumptions here as to what the motives were. You have the fact that this gentleman was a transgender individual, someone with a mental illness, pretending to be a woman, believing that they are a woman, and willing to kill other people who disagree with him. Ladies and gentlemen, this transgender epidemic is becoming more and more of an issue, day by day, okay? Specifically because you have the perfect mixing. Well, it's not, I don't want to say perfect because that makes it sound like a good thing. You have the diabolical mixing of transgender mental illness together with woke teaching in universities, in the media, everywhere. It's all over TV. It's all over the internet. It's in your face all day, every day. Just the LGBTQ propaganda bullcrap is in your face constantly, all day, every day. Okay? And these people who believe that they were born in the wrong body, these trans individuals, these people with mental illnesses, they are being taught that, oh, society doesn't accept you, and you're actually under attack, and it's these Christians, they're coming for you. And it's just not true. But because these people have a mental illness, and their mental illness is being affirmed by the woke left, these people actually come to believe these things, that Christians are trying to kill transgender people. Okay. We are going on, I want to say, six transgender shootings in a row now. Many of them were far deadlier than this. I mean, no one died here except for the shooter. But there's been many shootings where that was not the case. You have the Nashville shooting, of course, where a transgender individual went after Christian kids, children. Ladies and gentlemen, this is becoming an epidemic. It's getting to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. Okay, this is becoming a regular occurrence. You know, the media always try to tell you, oh, the angry white man is going to go shoot up a school. What about the angry trans person? What about that? Why is that always getting covered up? Why is that not heavily covered in the mainstream media? Because you noticed that this shooting was all over the news on Sunday when it was happening. But as soon as this information comes out, crickets from the mainstream media. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. I mean, just crickets from the mainstream media. Christians, I want to talk to my Christians for a moment here, okay? This, like I said, this is becoming a bigger issue, okay? What you do not do is you don't become fearful, okay? Because ultimately we're Christians, we follow God, okay? And ultimately, in this case, it was two good guys with guns that were able to put this person down who wanted to bring harm unto others. There were some injuries and whatnot, and I really hope that this young boy survives. I really do. I pray for him, and I pray that he survives and he's healed from his injuries in the name of Jesus. But ultimately, we don't give in to fear, because that's what this is. For all the people that don't believe in Jesus and don't believe in Christianity, that's fine. I'm not talking to you right now in this moment. But to all my Christian followers, just real quick, you do not give in to fear. Okay? Now, you keep your head on a swivel, and you might want to be carrying if your church allows you to. But you do not give in to fear, because that's all this is. This is fear from the enemy trying to get you to say, oh, woe is me. Oh, they're coming to get me. They're out to get me. Oh, the trans are coming. No. Guys, this is becoming an issue, but you don't live by these worldly standards, okay? You are, what's the word? You have to uphold a higher standard, okay? You answer to a higher authority. And that authority, if you allow him authority over your life, will protect you. And if you believe that, you should not have this fear going on. You know, there's multiple scriptures I can pull up right here in the Bible. Ultimately, this is a fear tactic from the enemy. And all you need to know is that, yes, keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. If you are allowed to, carry a weapon. Because, I mean, my goodness, this is the state of Texas that this happened in. But ultimately, fear should not be a thing. You cannot allow the enemy to win over you. Keep going to church. Keep praying. Keep doing your daily encounters. Keep reading your Bible. Keep growing as a community. Because ultimately, this is just a ploy from the enemy to try to get you to, oh, just stay at home. Oh, just watch the service from home. You know, there's no need to be a part of a community. There's no need to have a Christian community. You know, you don't need that. No, that whole community thing, it's so over. Everyone's connected from home over the internet, right? You don't need person-to-person contact, nothing like that, you know. Ultimately, that's what this is. It is a ploy to try to bring down the Christian community here in America at a time where the Christian community is becoming very strong. I don't know if you guys have seen social media or the based culture that is coming up in Gen Z and even spreading into the millennial generation, where it's like Jesus is pretty based right now, and he's becoming more popular by the day, and that's ultimately what the enemy hates and what the enemy doesn't want. The younger generations are starting to reject this woke ideology. And they are turning towards a more conservative and Christian ideology. And you can blame this on many different things. And I have research and things to back this up. But ultimately, guys, I want to ask you this question, and you can tell me down in the comments. Do you think we should have gotten rid of the insane asylums? Because since then, ever since then, stuff like this has just continued to happen. Okay? Personally, I feel like if we still had them around, stuff like this might not happen. Now, obviously, some of the insane asylums were owned by eugenicist freaks who were using them to experiment on people. Obviously, that's unacceptable. But guys, you can't tell me that this is better than where we were. You can't tell me that this is okay. You can't tell me that we as Christians should tolerate this. They are actively trying to kill people because they're being taught by the media and by social media and by the schools, the public schools, the public universities. They're being taught in every stage of their life. Oh, if you're trans, if you're LGBTQ, there's these Christians, they just hate you. They want to kill you. It's not true. It's not true. How often do you see Christians going to, I don't know, pride parades and shooting up pride parades? How often do you see Christians going to any type of trans event? I mean, pride parades is usually where they're mostly at. I mean, you've got these drag shows, of course, where a lot of transgender individuals are involved in. You don't see Christians showing up to these places and trying to kill people. You don't. So there's a disconnect here where you've got the woke left ideology that is actively teaching these people that, oh, you're in danger. Your life's in danger. You should do a preemptive strike against those Christians or else they'll come for you. Ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, whether you're a Christian or not, okay, there's something mentally not there with these people who believe that they are trans. Something's not there, okay? And ultimately, it is something that is beginning to turn them violent. I don't know if it's, these hormone blockers or puberty blockers or hormones that they're on, or they're just angry because of the ideology that's being bashed into their brain every day from the woke left. I don't know. But ultimately, there's a screw loose. And obviously, we can't ever expect the government to actually protect us. The police, law enforcement, ultimately what police and law enforcement do is they just show up afterwards to give the report on your death. Okay? That's what they do. So ultimately, you have to take your safety into your own hands. You have to. Now, listen to what I'm saying. I am not saying that you should go out and you should attack people. I am not saying that you should go out and you should kill people. That is not what I'm saying. You should not do that. That will only make everything worse. Okay? What I am saying is that if you are in a situation where you are attacked, you have the right to defend yourself. And if you're in a state where that state tries to tell you that you don't have a right to defend yourself, leave that state. Because if you don't, you are putting yourself and your and your wife and your kids in danger. Because you're going to be that guy that said, oh, well, the state says that I can't defend myself, so I'm going to go out in public without a weapon. I'm not going to do anything to defend myself. And then a tranny shows up to kill you and your family, and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do. You're just weaponless and defenseless, and now you, your wife, and your children are all dead in the street. Congratulations. You lived in a Democrat-run state. I hope it was worth it. It's not. Newsflash, guys. It's not worth it. Okay? Move to a state that actually allows you to defend yourself. Okay? Live in a district or a county that has favorable self-defense laws. Okay? With a defense attorney that's going to actually agree with the ideas of self-defense and whatnot. Okay? This is ultimately what you have to do in order to protect yourself and to protect your family in 2024. Okay? I don't know where we go from here, man, but I know what has to change now. Christians and people in general have to start keeping their head on a swivel, and they need to start, I hate to say this, but they have to start looking at these transgender individuals like, are you going to be the next one to pop off and try to kill a bunch of people? Because clearly, I mean, you're claiming that you're transgender, so you have some kind of mental illness already, okay? But have you gone through, puberty blockers? Have you taken this hormone treatment? Have you gotten surgeries? All of these things are factors that could affect somebody's hormonal imbalance and their mental capacity. All of these things are things that could just stack on top of one another to affect someone's mental capacity. And ultimately, you have no idea when that person could snap. They might not snap at all, but they also might. You never know at this point. I mean, you got a lot of transgender individuals out here who've been around for a long time, and they seemingly don't have any issues. But then you got a lot of other transgender individuals who like to go and kill Christians. I don't know where we go from here, man. Because on one end, you don't want to discriminate. You don't want to you don't want to look at people sideways. You don't want to be that guy that's like, are you going to, because, ultimately that just feels icky and gross. But ultimately, you are responsible for your safety and for the safety of your family. So, when it comes to, don't discriminate or my family gets killed, I'm going to discriminate. I'm going to discriminate against you. I'm going to be more wary around you. I'm going to carry a weapon. I will defend myself if you get out of hand. Okay? That is ultimately what we have to do. Okay? No, this is not a call to action. This is not a call to violence against transgender individuals. This is a call to defend yourself in situations where you are being attacked. This is a call to arm yourselves for self-defense. This is a call to keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. If you go to church regularly on Sundays, be aware. I'm not going to tell anybody what church I go to, but it is a church that is in the news quite a bit because the woke left really doesn't like what my church has to say. I keep my head on a swivel, and I'm carrying every single Sunday. Okay? And that's with armed security. Like, they've got armed security. They've got police officers there. I'm still carrying. Because ultimately, you don't know where the attack could start. I mean, ultimately, this person was able to smack on a bunch of makeup and look relatively normal. So they could come in and be sitting right next to you. And then suddenly they're pulling out a gun ready to, slaughter you and your family. So ultimately, this is a call to self-defense. This is a call to keep your head on a swivel. And this is a call to, guys, we need to come together now more than ever. This is becoming a bigger issue by the day. But you have to come together. You have to stick together. You have to protect one another as Christians. Okay? I'm not saying that you should, anybody that thinks differently, you kick them out of your in-group. That's not what I'm saying. You love people. You care for people. You be an example of Christ for other people. Okay? But ultimately, you also have to protect your families. You do. And, I've never had to take a life, but I've thought about it. I've thought about the fact that if somebody were to put my family in a situation where their lives are in danger, that's not a choice for me. It's not a choice. I have to put that person down. You have to kill them. And that sucks because ultimately you never want to take another person's life. But I can tell you this. I'm not going to be the guy laying over my wife or my child's casket. I'm not. If I have to choose between my wife or my child and the psycho that's trying to kill them, I'm going to choose my family every time. Every time. It's an easy decision. Okay? That's all I'm calling people to do today. Keep your head on a swivel and protect yourselves in situations where your life is in danger. Okay? This should be a wake-up call, man. This should really be a wake-up call. This is multiple shootings now at multiple churches all across the country by people who claim to be transgender and have gone through treatments and transgender treatments and whatnot. This is the day and age we live in, guys. It's no longer the days where American, capitalism and American society kind of insulates Christians from the persecution that the rest of the Christians in the world see. Now it's coming here. Okay? It's at your doorstep now. These trans individuals, they've got mental illnesses and they don't care. Okay? They don't care if you're a human. They are being taught every single day by the woke left that they are under attack. Now, obviously, all of society can clearly see that Christians are not attacking transgender individuals. But, like I said, they have mental illnesses, and they can't see that. So, they are going to lash out. They're going to do stupid things like this that get themselves killed or can get other people killed. Like this young child that she brought with her. He brought with him. Excuse me. Gosh. Level of insanity in our country. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on, guys, but this is, as a Christian, this means something to me. It does. This is something that bothers me. It's something that it brings out a passion in me, a frustration, if you will. I don't know, man. I don't know where we go from here, but ultimately, we have to protect ourselves. But I'll say this. Yes, you should protect yourself, but nothing, as a Christian, nothing should stop you. Not fear, not the enemy. Nothing should stop you from spreading the love of Jesus. Nothing. You got to continue to do it, even in days where it might cost you your life. I mean, welcome to what every other Christian in the world experiences on a daily basis. Like, you go to Africa or you live in a Muslim country. I mean, you're a Christian in a Muslim country where they have Sharia law, you get killed. I mean, they'll chop your head off. I mean, it happens in North Africa all the time. Okay? So, welcome to Christianity. Jesus said that in this life, you're going to have hardship. Remember that, when they hate you, they hated me first. Okay? Remember, Jesus said that. Okay? Ultimately, this is what we signed up for as Christians. And if you don't want to be a part of it, I would ask you to reconsider, because I don't think that hell is worth it. But if you don't want to be a part of the kingdom of God and you don't want to do what is necessary to be a part of the kingdom of God, that's fine. You know, God's not going to force himself on you. He's not going to force his love onto you. He's not going to force you to be a part of his kingdom if you don't want to. But you better understand that's a choice that you're making. If this is a little too crazy for you, well, first of all, it's going to get a heck of a lot worse. Okay? It's not. Let me just say that outright. For Christians, it gets worse for us. Okay? It does. But ultimately, if you really want to be a part of the kingdom of God, that shouldn't sway you. And you got to keep going. You got to keep spreading the love of Jesus. You got to keep trying to win people to the gospel. You got to keep sharing the gospel. Keep showing love to other people. Keep caring about other people. I don't know, man. I don't know where we go from here. Obviously, this is crazy, but ultimately, we got to keep going. We got to do what's right. We got to do right by God as Christians. If many of you don't believe in God, that's fine. You know, you're atheists, whatever. That's fine. I'm not here to try to convince anybody to believe in God. But you should probably take care of yourself too. Okay, let's be honest. Also, you need to keep your head on a swivel. You should probably be carrying a weapon because, I mean, when bullets start flying, you never know where it's going to land. Okay, so everybody in general, Christians or otherwise, protect yourselves. Love each other. Let's get rid of this hate, man. These woke left freaks just constantly telling these people, oh, you're being attacked. It's not true. These people are not being genocided. In fact, it is the woke left that is genociding them by telling them, oh, you should get your genitals removed, which will remove your genes from the gene pool. That's called genocide. That's reality. They are removing an entire group of people from the gene pool. That is what the woke left is doing by telling these people, oh, you're transgender. You should get your genitals removed. You should take puberty blockers that will chemically castrate you. That's what they're doing. Ultimately, we got to keep fighting back. Metaphorically, not literally. We got to keep standing up. We got to keep speaking out. We got to keep protesting. We got to keep contacting our reps. Anytime there's a bill about transgenderism, we got to shut it down. Okay? We've got to put a stop to this. But ultimately, it has to be done through the culture. Okay? And all of culture starts with us. It starts with us, guys. Let's be better. Let's try to help these people. Let's try to get to them before the woke left does and say, yeah, you're not a woman, or no, you're not a man. That's a lie. It's called gender dysphoria. 90% of people that have it, you know, they get over it by the time they're 18 or 19. You know, it's just a thing. It's just thoughts in your head. It's just a mental illness. You're okay. You don't need puberty blockers. You don't need any of that. It's okay. You're going to be fine. You don't need to castrate yourself. You're going to be fine. Let's just show love to each other, man. I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, you shouldn't tolerate the craziness, but show love where you can. Show love where you can. I'm going to leave it there. I try to be as positive as I can with a crazy story like this, you know, but I will have another story coming for you guys probably tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, which is Thursday, I believe. I'm all out of whack. My days are mixed up. I'll have another video coming for you guys as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section, share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.